Dr. Fauci himself doesn't even have an answer to that question. Let's read the transcript. Question: do you recall reviewing any studies or data supporting masking for children? Answer: I might have, Mitch, but I don't recall specifically that I did. I might have. Question, and I apologize for the poor wording here before we get into it. Since there's been a lot of studies that have come out since the pandemic started, but specifically on this, there have been significant on kind of like the learning loss and speech and development issues that have been associated with particularly young children wearing masks while they're growing up. They can't see their teacher talk and can't learn how to form words. Have you followed any of those studies? Fauci answers no, but I believe there's been a lot of conflicting studies too, that there are those that say, yes, there is an impact, and there are those that say there's not. I still think it's up in the air. And we'll pause there before getting into the 6 feet social distance thing. Let's listen to what was said. He's asked if there's any studies that support masking on children. He can't recall whether or not that he read those studies or if he has reference to any studies that support that claim. That's an interesting thing, considering how aggressive we were with throwing these masks on children under the age of 5 who were doing quite well when they contracted COVID and were relatively healthy when it came to experiencing that illness. And this is information that we gathered pretty quickly. Yes, kids were getting COVID, but they weren't having super severe reactions to COVID. In fact, they were doing quite well. But still, we threw masks on them and everyone else around them. They couldn't see half of everyone's faces, their mouths, their emotions and smiles. They couldn't see the way their mouths were moving to create speech, let alone hear that speech properly. They couldn't properly socialize with their peers of the same age. And when you couple that with not being able to go to school and online learning and all the other crazy stuff that was happening at the time, we really set kids back, multiple steps back. But I guess the studies are conflicting on that last part, so don't take my word for it. It's interesting that Dr. Fauci can remember the conflicting studies on the effects of masks on things like speech and learning, but he can't remember a single study that defended his view that children should wear them. And then, of course, we had a ton of other COVID regulations, or I guess what they'll call them now, recommendations, and that included the 6 feet social distancing rule. We all went to the grocery store if we weren't getting our groceries delivered and spraying them down with Lysol, and we stood on those little circular stickers they put on the ground, 6 feet apart, all the way up and down the aisles, at the checkout line. We got harassed by people on the street who told us to stay away from them. We were getting too close. We stood 6 feet apart at birthday parties and graduations, even funerals where we're meant to be together grieving. Oh, wait. We didn't stand 6 feet apart at those because we weren't allowed to have those. I remember now. But anyways, let's hear what Dr. Fauci had to say about that 6 feet apart rule. Question: do you recall when discussions regarding kind of the at least a 6 foot threshold began? Answer: the 6 foot in the school? Question: 6 foot overall. I mean, 6 foot was applied at businesses. Answer: yeah. Question: it was applied in schools, it was applied here. At least how the messaging was applied was that 6 foot distancing was the distance that needed to be. Answer: I don't recall. It sort of just appeared. I don't recall.
Keep in mind. This is one of our American, quote unquote, American leaders giving these responses. All right, these carefree, nonchalant responses. These Edomites are something else, man.
Like a discussion of whether it should be 5 or 6 or whatever. It was just that 6 foot is. Question: do you see any studies that supported 6 feet? Dr. Fauci answers: I was not aware of studies. In fact, that would be a very difficult study to do. Now I'll be charitable.
Oh, man, you average peon American people fell for it, man. Excuse me, not people. You don't deserve that level of respect and entitlement. You sheeple, all right? You sheeple fell for it. You gotta be 6 feet apart, bro. You gotta wear a mask. You gotta get the jab, bro. And this is what you get, because now all your family members and your best friends is dying from that damn jab. Okay, and you was losing your minds from that damn pandemic, man. That's exactly what you get. That is exactly what you get. Okay, that is exactly what you get. This is the book of Proverbs, Mashallah, chapter 8. Verse 12, it says, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions, okay? And that pandemic was a very, very witty invention. All right, to show how stupid you damn sheeple are, man. And how susceptible you are to just falling for anything. Shalom.